This is weird, isn't it? This is weird. I should start, before I do start properly, just two little things. One is, I dyed my hair yesterday, and it's really hot under here, and I'm sweating. So if I look like I'm bleeding, don't panic. Right? It's going to be fine. And the second thing is, I've got a really bad cold as well at the moment, so I'm a bit croaky, which is ideal. And I know it's particularly bad because people who work in call centres, they'll use a croaky voice to try and get you on side. And I got a cold call this morning. She said, hello, is that Miss Barnes? I said, yes, speaking. She said, oh, Miss Barnes, you sound like you've got a terrible cold. I said, really? You sound like you've got a third in media studies from Luton. What do you want? But we'll crack on anyway. So we're here talking about anxiety, I think is what we're saying. And it's a weird thing as a comedian to stand up in front of people and say, yeah, I suffer from anxiety and depression. Because they go, well, what are you doing up there? That's a bit weird. But this is actually the best job for somebody with anxiety, because the best way I find to deal with a crowd is to put them in the dark and give me a microphone. That's the best way to deal with it. Several social situations make me anxious, always have done my whole life. Going to parties is the worst thing in the world for me. It starts before I even get there. It starts with worrying what to wear. Because, I mean, look at me now. I'm looking at you like you're all dressed up beautifully. I look like I've run naked through Matalan covered in glue. I can't do it, right? So that stresses me out. And then I'm stressed out about what to take, what drink to take, because I want to take something that makes me look sophisticated. I don't want to take something that makes me look like an alcoholic, right? But I don't know about it. It was so much easier, wasn't it, when you were in your 20s and all you did was take a bottle of Lambrini? That was much easier, wasn't it? You take the Lambrini, drink the expensive stuff, leave the Lambrini there. That's what you do, isn't it? For 10 years in the 90s, there was one bottle of Lambrini that just went house to house around my... Ironically, it's now quite a good vintage. It's, the whole thing about parties is stressful. Turning up at a party, I find that makes me anxious as well, because what if the person who opens the door, what if I don't recognise them? Well, I might be in the wrong place, or even if I'm in the right place, I have to justify to that person why I'm there. I feel like I have to give them a complete CV of my entire background with the person whose party it is. You know, and then you go into the party and you still don't see anyone that you recognise, and eventually you do, and then I start thinking, well, wait a minute, this friend of mine has all these friends that she's never introduced me to. Right? How embarrassing a friend am I? That's, you know, and then what if I'm in the wrong place? Right? Once I went to a wedding reception. This is absolutely true. I'd been to the wedding with my boyfriend. We got in the car, we drove to the reception. We got to the reception. Now, we didn't really know anyone else at the wedding, so we just found ourselves a table, started eating the nibbles, the free booze, and then they introduced the bride and groom into the room, and we looked up, and it was not our bride and groom. Right? We were at someone else's wedding reception. Now, there'd been a change of venue. Like, we hadn't got the email. We turned up at this place. I don't know if you've ever been up to a table of wedding presents before to take one back. Right? Yeah, people look at you funny. But still, we got a better one than the one we left. So that was... Hope they enjoyed their Lambrini. That's the... Yeah. The most stressful, the most anxiety-ridden party I've had to go to recently was I went to my friend's hen do, which is bad enough, right? But this was a burlesque-themed hen do. Right, so not only was this a party, this was a party where at some point I was going to have to get my kit off. Right, for somebody with low self-esteem, that's a nightmare. That's an absolute nightmare. I did get to wear a corset, which I was quite excited about, a proper one. This woman in Brighton made me one, and I was all trussed up in it, and it looked brilliant. And I stood in it, and I looked in the mirror, and I looked amazing from the front. Because that shit has to go somewhere, doesn't it? I had 4 back breasts and a kidney in each buttock. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then she wanted to do a burlesque dancing class. That was the thing she wanted us to do, and I really was nervous. I wasn't up for it. She said, come on, Angela, it's about celebrating your body. I said, can't we give mine a bank holiday? I'm not really... And I did it. And let me tell you, I have now a newfound respect for burlesque dancers, because that is difficult. Right? It is difficult to take your clothes off sexily in front of strangers. Right? I mean, I find it difficult to take my clothes off full stop sometimes. I once choked myself because I took a jumper off, forgetting I still had a pepperami in my mouth. So, you know, don't think burlesque is for me. But party anxiety is great, though, because I'm now 39. I'll give you a moment for the gasps of surprise. Not you, no. And now it doesn't matter, because now when you're 39 and you say you don't want to go to a party, no one cares. No one cares if you're not there. Because this wonderful revelation hits you when you're about 35, right? And let this be a little gift to any younger people, right? When you're about 35, this usually hits you, but I'm giving this to you now. And that is that if you're at a party and you're uncomfortable and you're bored and it's a bit shit, you can just go home. You're welcome. I've been Angela Barnes. Thank you very much. Goodbye.